Get ready to learn how the latest Azure capabilities can help you innovate, be agile, and data-driven. We'll get some real-world advice from a pair of Azure customers, check out demos of the newest features, and even take some of your questions live from Seattle. This is Microsoft Ignite Into Focus. Welcome, everyone. I'm your host, Seth Juarez. We heard from Kathleen Mitford, Aaron Chappell, and Rohan Kumar about how Microsoft Azure helps you do more with less and how you can innovate on your own teams. Today, we're going to unpack some of those key announcements and take some deep dives into what they mean for you. We'll also let you get more in depth with a question and answer session, both for in-room attendees here and also for our digital audience. Submit your questions into the chat. But first, let's hear from two customers who have already been utilizing the power of Microsoft Azure to increase agility and accelerate innovation. I'd like to welcome Jeff Martin, SVP, CIO from TD Bank, and Sam Shinor, VP, Global Head of Infrastructure and Cloud from Sanofi. Come on in, my friends. How's it going? Thank you.
Hey, how you doing?
I love the appropriately green sweater.
Work for a green bank, you gotta wear green.
That is right. So it's so good to have you. Thank you so much for joining us. Earlier, Rohan talked about how customers can leverage integrations across databases, analytics, and governance. So let's just dive into that. We'll start with you, Jeff. The data journey is always perilous, especially for someone that might be regulated like a bank. So you have governance, analytics, compliance. How do you make sense out of all this?
Yeah, how do you make sense of all of this? I was actually hoping you were going to tell me. No, first I'll start with our vision on how we think about this is a good place to start. It's to provide faster data access that's trusted at a cost-effective way. So when it comes to the regulator and it comes to being a bank, trust is everything. So it's not an option. You have to be compliant. You have to make sure that you're doing everything that's expected. And so it's really ingrained in everything that we do. So to put context around that, so historically, you're doing reporting and you've got a bunch of different regulatory reports you've got to do. It was easy. You'd go and pull some data in from source and you'd put a report together. But what happened is we would find two data elements and two different reports that should be the same.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not cool. So what we're using the Microsoft Data Platform as a backbone for is now all of our data comes from those sources into the platform. We make sure that it's got strong lineage, it's very trustworthy data, and then when the reporting comes out the other side, you get the same reporting as it should be out the other side. So that's really the key.
And I bet that helps with trust, having the same numbers everywhere.
Yeah, something about that. If the numbers are different, trust goes down, right?
All right, Sam, moving to the cloud's got to be tough. Tell us about your journey.
Yeah, sure. Just to paint a larger picture, Sanofi is a global healthcare company. We have data centers around the world, 3 large data centers, one in Europe, America, APAC. We've got 160 local server rooms, 9 regional data centers, and we have a lot of manufacturing sites, so we have just about everything you could imagine. So we started our move to cloud journey with Azure about 18 months ago, and we engaged a really small yet talented partner named Mobiz, led by Hamad Riaz. And the first thing we asked them to do is put together a very GXP compliant landing zone for us. And in order to do that, we leveraged some key content from a Microsoft team in Singapore, led by Arnaud Leroux, who builds CAF templates, like Cloud Adoption Framework, Terraform templates. So what we had Mobiz do is package that all up into a way that we could quickly deploy compliant workloads in the cloud, and it has really sped that process up.
I mean, that's pretty amazing that you're doing it in such a principled way. Too. Usually people just throw stuff up, but you can't do that in a nice way. But let's talk about data and security. Jeff, I bet that's top of mind for you. How do you deal with that, especially with, you deal with money sometimes?
Yeah, exactly. So when you think of data and security, so security is layered into everything. We've spent just a ton of time on security, but maybe give you an insight into our architecture a little bit. So the way we've designed this and architected is we have 3 main zones. We have a raw zone. So all the data comes into the raw zone from all the sources, and it's just a tremendous amount of data. but it's not that easy to use. So then we have the curated zone, which is like your data warehouses, your data marts, and it really makes it a lot easier for people to consume the data. It makes it just easier. And then the last zone is the analytics zone. And the analytics zone is really where the magic happens with the analyst people. They just extract great insights out of that and really create a lot of value. And all of that zoning allows us to have a lot of security controls, access controls, and we're doing all of that on Synapse and on the Azure platform. And what we're also doing on Synapse, which is, I think, interesting from a security perspective, is we're actually having the access through Synapse give you what you're allowed to. So you're not allowed to just have everything in the zone. And then we also can do some data masking with that. So we've leveraged that technology to increase our security.
And that's awesome, because that's security outside and inside for people that maybe shouldn't be looking at certain kinds of things.
Yeah, that's right. So even if you've got access into a zone, do you have access to that exact field? And maybe you shouldn't see, well, if there's internal data like a salary number.
That's awesome. Jeff, thank you for that. Sam, along those lines, how has Azure helped you with security?
Yeah. Security is a huge topic, right? But we leverage Microsoft Defender. We're looking at Azure Sentinel. We have a pilot underway there. And but one of the more compelling things we do is we also leverage these CAF templates, these Cloud Adoption Framework templates. And what we've done is we've actually created custom Azure policy that is focused on, like R&D has their own policy requirements for security, for governance, for compliance, and all of that. And so what we do is we develop this custom policy, and we apply it to different resources that are deployed to all the different business units, because they're so different. And so in general, that allows us to scale the deployment, but also be secure as we do it.
That's really cool. Before we close, Sam, how has Azure helped streamline your business a little bit more? What have you achieved with Azure?
Yeah, sure. Well, one thing we use is we use a third-party NVA that we had already used on-prem. We use that in the cloud, so that creates a lot of symmetry in the way that you leverage firewalls between on-prem and cloud. So I think that's been really key for agility. Another one is Azure Site Recovery. So we've really improved our business continuity and disaster recovery posture using Azure Site Recovery. And there's also, more from a networking perspective, is we've consolidated our WAN. So we use Azure Virtual WAN. And that allows us to take something like ExpressRoute or SD-WAN appliances, on-ramp those to the cloud through Virtual WAN, and then Virtual WAN kind of gives us that intelligent routing on the Microsoft backbone.
Amazing.
Right? So, yeah.
That's really cool. Thanks, Sam. All right, final question for you, Jeff. What's the future look like for you and the cloud?
Okay, well, the future...
And you have about 20 seconds.
I have
so
20 seconds. No pressure?
No pressure.
No pressure. I just use 5 of them up?
Yeah.
So, like in a digital-first world, data is key to everything, right? Driving that data into every experience that our customers have. So the 3 areas of focus that we're really jumping into, we talked a little bit about data governance. And I will highlight the reason that we've picked Microsoft and the Azure platform is because we feel that Microsoft is the right partner to ensure a safe, secure, and scalable platform. So that's really, really important. The next thing is machine learning and AI. We really want to democratize machine learning and AI, and that's the next frontier that we're moving into. And the last thing I would highlight is operating at scale and really improving time to market. We've got to get faster, and that's where our energy is going.
Awesome. Well, this has been amazing, Jeff and Sam. Let's give them a hand. Thank you so much. Thank you. Now it's time to welcome someone who's been leading the workload optimized compute for Azure. She's our very own partner, GPM, and a big NBA fan. Maybe that's how the NBA started using Azure to modernize their SAP systems. Please join me in welcoming Nidhi Chappell. Let's give her a hand. How's it going?
Going good, thank you.
Have a seat. All right. Feels good to be with people, right?
Yes.
I know.
Love the energy in the room.
All right, we've been working with SAP in a number of different areas of integration across the Microsoft Cloud. Aaron and Kathleen were just talking about a new collaborative experience between SAP S/4HANA Cloud and Microsoft 365. Why don't you tell us about this?
Yeah, so this has been an integration that we've been working with SAP and Microsoft 365 for almost a year now, right? So the goal here was to have a new offering that'll help our joint customers increase their productivity. As you saw yesterday, Satya announced the preview of this new capability, the new collaborative SAP ERP experience. With this, customers can now share insights and integrate their workflows directly from the SAP S4 Cloud. And the beauty of all of this is you can integrate business processes, so now you can seamlessly share whether you are in an SAP application or you are working in Microsoft tools like Teams or Office.
This is awesome. I love how this integration allows people to use data in context wherever they may be. This will also help, when you're in a team, that you can increase productivity. So I'm pretty excited about that. All right, so moving forward, this is the next thing I wanted to ask you about. Are there any announcements that people should think about when it comes to SAP?
Yeah, so we actually just announced that we will extend Microsoft Azure Center for SAP Solutions. We call it ACSS. ACSS allows customers to manage end-to-end deployments and their overall experience on SAP workloads on Azure. And it works both for our new customers and our existing customers on Azure. With ACSS, you can streamline your ability to discover, configure, manage SAP systems, and now you're looking at the whole system, not a set of VMs or components. Actually, why are we talking about it? Let's see a demo from
All
here.
right, let's see something. Let's roll it.
Hi, I'm Hiren Shah, and I'll demo ACSS, which stands for Azure Center for SAP Solutions. First, let's walk through deploying a new system. As you can see, we give you a prescriptive and guided experience to map your requirements to reference designs for production and non-production systems. We give you options for cost and high availability optimizations. We help you size the system. If you tell us the number of SAPs you need and the amount of memory you need, we give you recommendations for the right certified SKUs. Here you can see we give you recommendations for the VMs and the disks. And with this, we validate the settings that you've created, and you can create the infrastructure for the system. Once the infrastructure for the system is created, we also help you install the SAP software in an automated fashion. For installing SAP software as well, we give you a prescriptive and guided experience. Now, if you have existing systems, you can register those as well with ACSS, and that helps you unlock the management capabilities that ACSS has. All you have to do is point to the ASCS VM, and ACSS will learn the layout of your system. It'll learn about all the components the system has, and it'll create a virtual representation for the system. So here you see the virtual representation for your system and all the components. You can see the central services VMs, you can see the application layer VMs, and you can see the database VMs. Now, ACSS also shows you the overall system health with all the VMs you have. And you can also easily start and stop the system at the SID level. Now, ACSS proactively flags any deviations from best practices for your configuration and gives you recommendations to fix it through Azure Advisor. And we also have a new capability for cost analysis. We show you aggregate views of compute, storage, and network for your SAP system. This concludes this demo. Thank you. Please visit the link below to learn more about ACSS.
So I don't think people realize how cool that was.
That was.
SAP is a tremendously complex workload that they were able to literally just wizard their way through. Aaron also mentioned that sometimes the fastest path to value is to extend or migrate to a consistent environment in the cloud. What say you to that?
Yeah, so you looked at SAP. We are also extending the same experience to VMware and Nutanix, two of the very popular platforms with our customers on-premise today. So you already know that Azure VMware Solution is a native VMware environment where customers today are running this in Azure Cloud. And yesterday, Aaron actually announced the availability of Nutanix Cloud Clusters on Microsoft Azure. The playbook is exactly the same. We want to allow consistent environment in Azure. So customers of Nutanix can take their familiar skills and tools and now extend it from on-premise onto Azure. Customers today are using these for backup, disaster recovery from their on-premise data centers. But they're also starting to look into how they migrate that experience into Azure for their on-demand scale-up, scale-down requirements, right? So, or they're looking at high security and governance. And later, when they're ready to modernize their applications, whether they're going through Azure IaaS or PaaS, they can have the same consistent experience end-to-end.
And this is cool because, I mean, usually we're like, hey, Jim, what machine do we have in the back?
Exactly.
It's good to have a uniformity in how we do that. It's a great example of how to invest heavily to make Azure the best place to run mission-critical workloads. All right, questions are already coming in from the audience. Keep those coming, but we'll get to them later on in the show. Now let's bring out a principal program manager on the Azure Arc platform, product group team, and the author of the Azure Arc Jumpstart to help us out with a live demo. Please welcome Lior Kamrat. Come on in, Lior. And my BFF, by the way.
Hey, buddy.
How you doing? Have a seat, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, I understand you're gonna have a demo for us. Is that right?
That's what I do.
Okay, all right. So, what are you gonna show us?
So, we see a lot of customers are still trying to adopt Kubernetes and all, and everything in between. But it's still not easy. But now, now we're providing them with more options to choose wherever they want to deploy those Kubernetes clusters. So that's what we're going to show today.
And look, I had to do a Kubernetes thing once, and I did not know I had 26 hours in a day to figure out how to do a demo that was due the next day. So hopefully you can help us out.
I feel the pain.
All right, show us. Show us what you got.
Yeah, so you can see that in the resource group, we have a bunch of AKS clusters. And those AKS clusters are just the AKS cluster that you're familiar with. Now, what we're providing now is to deploy AKS on Windows Server. That's AKS Hybrid. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to deploy that AKS on Windows Server, right? And we're just going to select the resource group subscription. We'll give it a name. All the rest is just smart defaults, everything that you know and love with AKS. And that's it. Once the deployment is done, you're going to get an AKS on Windows Server just like any other AKS. So the same look and feel that you're familiar with AKS.
Hold on, this has got to be new, right? Because I didn't know you could do Kubernetes on Windows.
Yeah, so now we have a few more options. So we have AKS on Windows, we have AKS on Azure Stack HCI, and AKS on Windows IoT.
A truly hybrid environment.
Yeah.
All right, so Lior, we heard Aaron make some exciting announcements about AKS and Azure Arc. Is AKS still an active area investment, and how is it going to help customers?
Yeah, so as you can see, from the demo, AKS is very much an investment. At the end of the day, we want to be able to provide customers with the ability to choose whatever they want. We want to give them options. And sometimes options are not, it's too much. But in this case, really, I think that being able to bring the AKS clusters to the edge or to your own data center and provide you with those options in cases of low latency, data sovereignty, all those stuff. We even see customers doing that on cruise ships, believe it or not. Those options are really important for us to provide to our customers.
So are folks using this? Are folks using this today? Is this something you're seeing out in the wild?
Yeah, definitely. We see financial institutions. We see, factory floor, point of sale use cases. Definitely, people are using it, and we're excited to see this kind of growing and mature over time.
And I don't know if people, I know at least I didn't until you explained it to me, but how does Azure Arc fit into all of this? Because you said Edge. How does this all fit in?
Yeah, so Azure Arc is really the bridge. That was Azure Arc, what it was designed to do. And every one of those AKS clusters that we're deploying outside of Azure, they're also Arc enabled. So by being Arc enabled, you are able to take advantage of as a resource manager, the control plane, so role-based access, policy, all those stuff. Are available.
I want to maybe get your thoughts on some of this stuff.
This is very exciting. This gives you the scope and breadth of portfolio of services we really have, right? We are trying really to meet our customer diverse needs. Whether you have customers that are doing on-premise, where they're doing hybrid, or they're completely cloud native. Whether they're deploying a containerized workload in a cruise ship, or they're doing like a memory-intensive workload VMs in the cloud. We optimize the whole experience.
So Aaron also mentioned how we're making it easier for our customers to run AKS in their data centers with something called the Azure Hybrid Benefit. And they told me I had to say it correctly. The Azure Hybrid Benefit. What is that?
Yeah, so I think that, just kind of talking to everyone here at Ignite, I think that was probably the biggest thing that people took out of those announcements. And the Azure Hybrid Benefit is really our ability to extend your software assurance policy if you have that today. So if you have Windows Data Center today, you now can stretch that to deploy basically AKS on Azure Stack HCI and on Windows Server. And you can also use that with, free of charge, no additional cost. You can extend that software assurance so you can deploy AKS, you can deploy all this stuff. So that's awesome. I mean,
It is awesome. I love it. So how can customers get started with AKS on Windows Server now and Azure Stack HCI?
so obviously we have our docs, we have the Azure Arc Jumpstart, we have a lot of collateral. I want to say that Azure Arc is one of those spaces that we have tons of things. Also, AKS, MS, AKS-hybrid, that's where you're going to go and find all this stuff.
Also, this is amazing. I know our customers are going to be super excited. I know, look, like I said, I had to do a Kubernetes things once. AKS makes it so much easier, and now that I can do it on Windows at the edge, it's really awesome. Thank you so much, Lior.
Thank you.
Awesome. Earlier, we heard how TD Bank is using the Microsoft Intelligent Data Platform to integrate services across business divisions. For a deeper dive into our Azure Cosmos DB, please welcome Charles Feddersen. How you doing, Charles?
Good, thank you.
You even walked in with a point, man. That was awesome.
I got a few friends in the audience.
Oh my goodness. So tell us what we talked about yesterday, because there were some big announcements.
Yeah, look, we made a huge announcement yesterday, Seth. We talked about how we're now introducing distributed SQL Postgres into Cosmos DB to complement the existing NoSQL capabilities that we've had in the database for a long time now. I want to really show you, though, how this works. Let's make it real.
Let's do it.
Go straight to demo.
Let's roll it.
With Azure Cosmos DB for Postgres, we're focused on enabling developers to build cloud-native apps of any scale, quickly and efficiently. And one of the new features we've delivered is the ability to load data into the database directly from cloud storage using SQL. Let me show you how this works. I'm using pgadmin here, which is a common Postgres tool. And you could also use the pSQL terminal if you prefer. I'm going to create a table, and I'll also create an index to show you those work as you'd expect. I've already configured the storage account that I'll load data from, and you can see it's called CFMEC. And now I'm going to run a simple SQL insert statement where I'm selecting from a function in the extension. I'm passing my storage account that I showed above, the container, file name, and some options where I'm just setting the headers to false. I'll go ahead and run that, and this will take a few seconds to finish. And now I'll count the rows in the table, and you can see that we've loaded about 500,000 records, and that only took a few seconds. Now that we've got data in the cluster, imagine that the workload is starting to increase. Let's look at how we can scale compute to support this growing workload. In the portal, I'll select Scale, and you can see I'm running a small single-node cluster with only 2 cores. I'm going to scale out and up. First, to scale out, let's select 6 nodes, which will distribute my workload to scale across a cluster with no application changes. And I'm also going to scale my nodes up to 8 cores to give each node more processing power. Finally, I'll enable high availability because this is a mission-critical workload. And I'll go ahead and hit Save. But let's continue this theme of scalability, and I'll show you how I can scale this workload globally. I'm still in the Azure portal, and I'll click Replica. I'll give the replica a name and select a region, which is going to be West Europe. I'll go ahead and hit OK, and in a few minutes, I've got a globally deployed replica of my database. This is just some of the exciting features that we've announced at Ignite, and we really can't wait to see the types of applications that developers are going to start building on the platform. Thank you.
That was an awesome demo. Love your accent. Are you from Texas or something?
There's a little bit of Australian.
Oh, I love it. So the first thing, there's a couple of things I want to pick apart there. The first thing is, are people really loading stuff from Blob with SQL statements? I've never seen that before.
Yeah, so one of the really nice things about the loading into SQL is that SQL is the language that people use for databases.
Right.
Everyone's familiar with it. The connectivity is easy. The gap that we had was the ability to load from cloud storage using SQL. So we've closed that gap now. Makes it really easy for developers to move data from really the ultimate clearinghouse of data in the cloud, which is cloud storage.
I love it because people are dumping CSVs everywhere. It's cool to be able to load them up. That's really cool. All right. So the second thing that you showed was this notion of elasticity. Can you explain that a little bit more and how customers are benefiting?
Yeah, so different workloads benefit from scaling in different ways. And we actually think it's really important that developers have the choice to optimize their resources to fit the application. And so, for example, customers who might be building IoT apps today, they're really I/O intensive, and the shared nothing architecture of the service enables them to scale disk IOPS linearly to handle that class of workload.
I see.
However, the scale up is a different dimension. And so there are customers, for example, who are running those operational workloads, but they also want to do some very lightweight analytics on the application to get effectively like that exact point in time operational state.
Right.
And they want to do it where the data is on the node. And so that ability to scale up and give some compute headway to blending that operational and light analytic solution is really valuable to them.
Yeah, and I mean, that's awesome, but high availability, is that something that's available too?
Yeah, absolutely. So we showed how easy it is to turn on high availability, and that actually creates a replica with zero data loss and automatic failover. Not going to be used by everybody, but for those mission critical workloads where you need uptime, it's there when you need it.
Well, back in my day, kids, when I dropped the database, can't do that anymore. Scare everybody. And finally, you touched on something that I think is important, geo-replication. Looks amazing. Is it practical?
Yeah, so we're building different classes of apps these days, and if you talk about the latency that we're looking at with globally distributed apps, even though it's milliseconds to move data across oceans, typically when we're using mobile apps, things with repetitive refreshes, those milliseconds add up quickly.
Right.
And so geo-replication enables you to co-locate the data closer to the application, and so as you can sort of see in some of the other demos we've run at Ignite, whereas connecting to the US from perhaps Europe would be 100 millisecond latency, geo-replication to some of those other regions like Europe, Australia, where have you, reduces it to effectively an instantaneous experience. That's just great for the end users.
I mean, that is absolutely great, because we all sit on our phone, this should be going faster, but maybe just the data needs to be geo-replicated. All right, Lior, you're working a lot with application developers. I'm curious to hear what you have to say about the geo-replication capabilities. Are they loving that too?
I think it's a gateway to a conversation that we have with a lot of developers, a lot of DevOps engineers and SREs, which is the low latency aspect of it. Bringing data closer to the edge, closer to the application. It's something that we definitely see. It's more than a trend at this point. It's a requirement. It's mandatory, and that's what we're seeing with this as well.
I saw a funny tweet about how it's like you're a junior developer, use Postgres. If you're using a distributed system and you're a middle engineer, you use Postgres. And if you're a senior dev, you use Kafka as a database, which is funny for those of us that do database. But I want to ask you, what's next for Cosmos DB for PostgreSQL, which seems like a hammer for almost all.
Yeah, look, there's so much that we want to bring to the service. I think in the short run, customers should expect us to bring some new hardware capabilities to service to provide some more choice in compute. And I think particularly for SaaS engineers or for ISVs who are building apps, there's a lot of new features we're going to bring that are going to make their life easier and remove a lot of the operational burden. So we're working on those right now.
So where should folks go to find out more about these cool new features in Cosmos DB with Postgres?
Two important places to know. You can go to aka.ms/trycosmosdb. There's a free trial. You can get started today. No subscription or credit card required. And also next week, we've actually got a virtual conference on the 18th. It's called Cosmos DB Liftoff. We've got a ton of product managers and engineers who are going to dive right into the code and show you exactly how this things work. So sign up for that one as well.
Amazing, everyone. We've covered a lot today, and I'm sure you probably still have some questions. Our first question comes from Peng in the chat. Peng asks, Charles, what are the most common workloads that customers run on Cosmos DB today? That's a great question.
Yeah, so look, for Postgres in particular, we see a number of workloads, but some of the common ones, one of the I mentioned actually earlier, is around IoT applications, right? That scalability of IOPS of the distributed system really enables them to run high throughput, high transaction rate applications with very low latency. And the second is around SaaS applications, multi-tenant applications, where you're looking for the economics of blending multi-tenant sharing and tenant isolation. We've announced a few features for that at Ignite to support those workloads, and we've got a lot of customers who are doing that today as well.
All right, Nidhi, this one's to you from the chat. Collaborative SAP ERP is exciting. Are there and will there be other SAP and Teams integrations? That's a great question.
No, that's a great question. Yes, so our plan right now is we already have integration and available with SAP SuccessFactors, SAP Sales Cloud, SAP S/4HANA Cloud. And we are looking into more integrations between other parts of SAP, so stay tuned for more.
Well, this is a lot of good stuff. I'm going to give you all a final, if you had one word to tell everybody about this cool stuff, what would it be, Charles, for you?
Say, try it now. We can't wait to see what developers are building, and for any issues you hit, feel free to reach out.
Lior.
Snazziness options.
Snazziness options. Snazzy. They told me to wear a snazzy shirt, and I certainly paid that off. Nidhi?
I was just excited to have you try everything we've been working on. So
Yeah, and like I said, this is really cool. I'm kind of a database geek, and so finding out about some of the cool stuff you're doing, learning also about how to do stuff on AKS has been awesome. And these workloads that you're putting up on Azure easily is really cool. Thanks to everyone from the audience for those questions, and thank you to Nidhi, Charles, and Lior for helping us answer them. That wraps up our Microsoft Ignite Into Focus on Azure.